and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, a driver is safe after crashing through a railing and into the ocean in Southwest Harbor. We'll show you the video. Plus, an effort is underway in Augusta to make wealthy Mainers pay more taxes than those who are struggling to get by. And we'll also hear concerns about safety in downtown Bangor. Good morning, everyone. I'm Craig Colson. We'll hear from Emma Smith a little later on in the broadcast. We're going to kick things off with a check of that forecast. It looks like a pretty nice day today. Still a little slippery out there this morning, so you'll want to take it easy after all the snow and rain we received yesterday. But today it looks like we'll see some more sunshine and then a chance of a little more rain and snow tomorrow as we head into the weekend. For more on that, let's turn things over to Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Emma. Happy Friday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Northwoods Hearing Aid Center in Lincoln, Maine, providing quality hearing care while accepting most Medicare Advantage plans and private pay. Contact them today to schedule your free hearing test. Already low temperatures so far this morning haven't been too bad. Overall, we've been in the 20s and 30s, but that's not the only thing we're keeping an eye on. We also have winter weather advisories further off towards the north for measurable snow that will be expected in those areas. This will drop by 9 p.m. Saturday. We also have a small craft advisory that will expire at 7 a.m. as we head towards Saturday morning as well. We have freezing fog taking place near parts of Waterville, Augusta, along the southwestern parts of the state this morning, so travel may be a bit tough there at times, and it looks like the fog has been hitting Bangor at times too, with the visibility now going down. But in the meantime, we have some clouds tracking off to the east, maybe a little bit of moisture in the air as well, maybe a little bit of snow in the northern parts of the state today, but for us, we will stay dry with some clouds passing through at times. Otherwise, further off towards the west, a little bit of snow falling across parts of the northeast. We'll be watching for our next system that will be moving in rather soon. Futurecast showing again overall a partly cloudy sky for us today, increasing clouds overnight. That next system moves in as we head towards Saturday morning. Your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing a partly cloudy sky overall, with temperatures overall in the 30s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Emma.
Looks pretty good. Thank you very much, Devin. We'll see you later on. Well, we begin with a scary ride for a driver in Southwest Harbor who ended up crashing into the ocean. It happened yesterday afternoon as snow created slippery conditions throughout the region. Security video captured the event as a pickup truck went down a hill toward the Dysart's Great Harbor Marina. Reports indicate the driver had problems stopping the truck on the slushy roadway. And according to the Mount Desert Islander, the driver was unable to stop and ended up crashing through a railing and over the edge. It ended up landing upside down on a floating dock with a portion of the truck in the water. Fortunately, the driver made it out and was not seriously injured in that accident yesterday. Boy, what a scary thing, though. Well, meanwhile, a doctor accused of sexually assaulting a patient has been indicted by a Penobscot County grand jury. The Maine Board of Osteopathic Licensure suspended Dr. Michael Gilmore's medical license indefinitely following allegations of sexual assault. Gilmore ran Maine Functional Medicine in Bangor. The complaint filed by a young female patient accuses him of touching her inappropriately without medical reason. The grand jury indicted him for unlawful sexual contact and unlawful sexual touching. Meanwhile, a Corinth man involved in a standoff with police after evading them for days was also indicted. 37-year-old Christopher Cunningham was arrested back in December. Penobscot County Sheriff's deputies responded to a reported domestic violence call in Corinth. Cunningham allegedly fired shots at the residence and then fled. No one was injured. Deputies located him days later in Glenburn. After several hours, he exited the residence and was taken into custody there. He was indicted on several charges, including domestic violence, attempted elevated aggravated assault, reckless conduct with a dangerous weapon, and possession of a firearm by a prohibited person. An Augusta man is facing drug trafficking charges following a traffic stop in Kittery. Police say they stopped 30-year-old Eric Batchard Wednesday for multiple traffic violations on Interstate 95. They say a search of his car turned up more than 21 grams of crystal methamphetamine, 19 Suboxone strips, and a gun. Batchard was arrested and charged with aggravated drug trafficking, unlawful possession of a gun. He's also charged with operating after his license was revoked and being a habitual offender. He's now being held in the York County Jail. Well, police responded to a fight at the Penquist Valley High School on Thursday. According to the Milo Police Department, several students were involved, but there were no weapons used. They say when the 911 call was made, the caller stated staff was involved and that it was misheard as a stabbing because of all the noise in the background. They say there were a few minor injuries and some people were taken to the hospital for treatment. They continue to investigate that incident. Well, controversy continues to swirl around Governor Mills' exchange with President Trump last week and the potential impact for Maine. We asked Maine Political Science Chair Mark Brewer to weigh in on the potential impacts to the state and to the Mills administration itself. Brewer says national data shows a majority of Americans are opposed to trans female athletes competing with biological females, and that includes a majority of Republicans and independents. Its potential effect on the governor's tenure depends on a few factors, including where Mainer's priorities lists this issue this fall. He says it also depends on how dialogue around the issue evolves, whether opinions change, and whether the threats against the state continue to escalate.
We've had the announcement of potentially, 3 Title IX related investigations focused on the state in some part or another. We've got, U.S. Attorney General Bondi's announcement yesterday that if Maine doesn't comply, that there's going to be a lawsuit. So far, the issue continues to escalate. So the more the issue escalates, the more it stays front and center in people's radar screens.
We'll continue to follow that case for sure. Well, since October of 2023, Penobscot County has become the site of an HIV cluster, and more cases have been confirmed over the past week. According to the latest data from the Maine Center for Disease Control and Prevention, there are 21 confirmed cases of HIV. The data shows 100% of those cases were from injection drug use, and 90% are connected to those who are experiencing homelessness. Over the last 5 years, the county has seen an average of 2 new HIV diagnoses per year. According to the executive director of Needle Point Sanctuary, one of Maine's certified syringe providers, this is the largest outbreak among injected drug users in Maine's history.
The fact that we have an outbreak like this speaks to, the fact that programs like this are not supported by certain portions of the community or local governments. And, now we're seeing the impact of that.
Penobscot County recently lost the area's longest standing certified syringe provider, which community advocates say could have an impact on this outbreak if that gap is not filled up pretty soon. While there are no cures for HIV, there are treatment options available. The Maine CDC is working to increase access to HIV and hepatitis C virus testing and treatment among those at risk. To learn about available resources and programs in Penobscot County, you can visit our website at foxbangor.com. Well, the City of Brewer's longtime public safety director has announced he is retiring at the end of March. Stepping into the role will be the city's current deputy police chief. Our Grace Blanchard sat down with both of them to see what the future of the department looks like.
You have a lot of mixed emotions about it because, this has been my life here for 25 years.
Chief Jason Moffett has been a dedicated member of law enforcement for nearly 3 decades. The majority of that time has been with the Brewer Police Department.
It's like a family away from home, it truly is. And that part I'm really going to miss.
After nearly 10 years as public safety director, he is putting away his badge for good. But he is not going far. He plans to take on a new role as the assistant city manager for Brewer.
We have a great manager and a great council and a great team of other department heads to work with. So I was excited to do something different, and the stars seemed to align. This seemed to be the time to do it.
Moffett is passing the baton to the department's current Deputy Chief of Police, Chris Martin, who has served Brewer for more than 30 years.
I am deeply honored and humbled to be entrusted to this position.
Martin says the most immediate issue he plans to address is the recruitment and retention challenges they are facing, along with many other public safety departments.
The emergency calls are still going to come. People will still need police, people will still need fire, and they're still going to need EMS calls. We have to make sure that we have the people, the staff, and the structure to do that.
Moffett says he's looking forward to continuing to serve the city of Brewer, but in a new way.
Quite frankly, I wouldn't want to work anywhere else right now. And I'm really, really pleased that I'm going to be able to, work to retire and then move into a different job while still working for this community.
In Brewer, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
All right, the time now is 6:10. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, there's a movement in Augusta to make taxation more equitable for all Mainers. We'll tell you all about it. But first, another check of that weather forecast. Today will be a partly cloudy day. We'll see more sunshine as the day rolls along. Highs around 38 degrees. Mostly cloudy with a chance of snow showers overnight. Lows dropping down to around 12. Tomorrow, a rainy and snowy day for your Saturday with highs near 43. We'll be back.
The road to the Oscars is heating up the mornings on GMA. The stars, the style, all the inside buzz on Hollywood's biggest night.
We are on the road to the Oscars.
Every morning, the countdown is on. No one does the Oscars like Good Morning America.
Winter is a time to get outside and enjoy all that Maine has to offer. And when it's time to come inside, rest assured everything's toasty because of your Fujitsu heat pump from Valley Home Services. Push a button and you'll be snuggling up on the couch in no time. Valley Home Services offers reliable rebates, significant energy savings, and expert installation. And now save $500 off each indoor unit for all systems installed by April 1st. Embrace the comfort of Fujitsu heat pumps from Valley Home Services. Call or click today.
Goose River Farm and Meat Store is conveniently located on Route 3 across from Hammond Lumber in Belfast. They have a wide selection of meat and poultry, including beef, pork, lamb, chicken, duck, rabbit, and turkey. Open Tuesday through Saturday.
Hey, good morning, America.
Good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Every day of your life.
Are you ready? Join America's favorite game.
You never know what's going to happen.
For the I can't believe it.
Oh, my goodness.
And always for the unexpected.
Treat yourself a round of sausage.
That's not it, but thank you.
Are you ready?
Who knows what we will do next?
Weekdays at 7 on ABC 7.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith. A coalition of citizens and legislators are advocating for a series of bills they say will make taxes in Maine more equitable. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bichard has the details.
It is time to ask those who benefit the most to pay their fair share.
Representative Cheryl Golek is a member of Mainers for Tax Fairness, a coalition of citizens and lawmakers concerned with what they say is an economy propped up by working-class Mainers instead of the wealthy. The coalition goes on to say that Maine's current budget shortfalls and increased federal tax cuts for the wealthy threaten services that working-class Mainers depend on, like MaineCare and food stamps.
Maine is at a crossroads. At the federal level, it is clear the government intends to make massive cuts to programs Mainers depend on to give even more in tax breaks to the wealthiest. We must soundly reject this approach and pursue greater tax fairness in our state to fund communities and our commitments to Maine people.
3 bills already proposed seek to do just that. One bill would increase taxes for corporations to help farmers and rural development. One would place an additional tax on millionaires in Maine to help fund education. And one would change Maine's tax brackets from 3 tax brackets to 6, with higher earners paying more than lower and middle class earners.
As a society, we rely on one another. As a child, I remember going to a neighbor to borrow a cup of sugar. And in exchange, they may have asked for a cup of milk. By sharing a portion of what we had, we all benefited. Today I'm asking that our richest share a slice of bread to those who turned the dough and made the loaf for them to eat.
One thing opponents of increasing corporate taxes have said is that businesses will pass along the cost of the taxes to consumers. Pillsbury says while that is a concern, they're not worried by the idea.
So I think we're always concerned about the possibility that taxes could be passed along to consumers. But I think we also know when corporate taxes are cut, those benefits go to the shareholders and the executives in companies. And we've seen that happen with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act.
At the State House, I'm Corey Bichard for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, meanwhile, a series of bills by Republican lawmakers seeking to end the energy practice known as net energy billing faced a public hearing at the State House yesterday. Net energy billing is a utility program that was designed to encourage customers to develop or participate in small-scale renewable energy projects like solar panels by offering credits to offset their electricity bills. But critics, including some of Maine's largest businesses, argue that it's already achieved the desired environmental goals and is now just a flawed system driving up bills. Anthony Buxton, an attorney who represents some of those businesses, including Penobscot McCrum, a potato processing facility, says they've seen their electricity bill skyrocket because of that program.
The unfortunate thing about net energy billing is it's a massive amount of money. It's $180 million this year statewide, and it needs to be shared among ratepayers. Well, if we divided it just on a per capita basis, equally, everybody who has a meter, the cost would be $225 a year. McCrum is paying $690,000 a year. Now, in no world that I know of is that fair. And that's just one example. It's not intentional. Nobody intended this result, but it happened because there's so much money to be shared, and the rate design under which it's shared is not built for this.
Supporters of the program say they see net energy billing as a way to help transition the state to cleaner and cheaper energy in the long run.
On Thursday at the Samoset Resort, the Maine Fishermen's Forum kicked off day one of its three-day event that organizers say blends education and camaraderie. Our Doug Banks takes us to Rockport.
From Thursday through Saturday at the Samoset Resort in Rockport, folks from around New England have gathered to take part in the Maine Fishermen's Forum. Organizers say this annual event is a melting pot of fishermen, organizations, scientists, nonprofits that all take part in special events, including educational seminars, trade shows, and more.
We are doing economics, we're doing fishery management work, we're doing policy work, and all these things sort of come together into a business on the coast of Maine that generates several $100 million valued at the dockside and employs thousands and thousands of people.
Thursday, according to the forum's vice president, is Shellfish Day, an opportunity to educate folks on its health and scientific findings.
It's the only day within the weekend that is truly dedicated to one licensing.
This year marks the forum's 50th anniversary, and Sol says this yearly tradition not only connects regulators to fishermen, but connects people with similar trades from different walks of life.
We actually had people here who came to the first forum 50 years ago. So it's a real chance also for community building and reconnecting with old friends.
In Rockport, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
I've been down there before. It's actually pretty neat to see all the latest technology and what they're talking about. A lot of issues facing fishermen these days.
I know, and the only thing you can do is have a conversation about it right now.
Yeah.
All right, the time now is 6:17. After the break, some people have been avoiding downtown Bangor, saying it feels increasingly unsafe. We'll hear from local business owners and officials on how they feel about the issue.
Plus that 5-day forecast coming up on Good Morning Maine.
Hi, this is Jim with Lowry & Associates.
Some guy slid across the center line and hit my daughter. The cops said the guy was driving way too fast for the snowy conditions.
I'm so sorry you guys are going through this. Is your daughter okay?
She just had surgery yesterday. Is there any way you can come meet us at the hospital?
Absolutely. I can meet you at the hospital right now.
Lowry & Associates came to the hospital and settled my daughter's case for $250,000.
I'm Jim with Lowry & Associates. Call us. We win for you.
You bought your Toyota because Toyota is the longest lasting brand. You put your trust in Toyota's reputation for quality. Now put your trust in Toyota trained certified technicians who install genuine Toyota parts to help keep your Toyota a Toyota. Get your Toyota ready for the year's coldest and harshest weather. See your New England Toyota dealer for affordable service offers. Trust the experts at Toyota Service Centers and keep your Toyota a Toyota.
Hammond Lumber Company has been a trusted partner of professional contractors, do-it-yourselfers, and homeowners for generations. It's the level of trust that Hammond Lumber has earned by providing an extensive selection of products and materials from industry-leading suppliers, with guidance and support through every stage of any project, including delivery of materials throughout Maine and New Hampshire. Hammond Lumber Company is, has been, and will always be your building project partner.
business owner in downtown Bangor says more needs to be done to address the city's unhoused population.
Our Alex Schley has more on the situation.
We had people coming in offering drugs to our cashiers. We had crystal meth dropped at our floor.
On Wednesday, James Gallagher posted on the Salty Burke Facebook page saying unhoused people are deterring customers from downtown and calling for the city to take action.
These issues you had to deal with on a daily basis. Why would you want to open a business here?
By Thursday, posters started appearing in downtown business windows reading, "Hey Bangor, we have a problem." Gallagher says the problem is the number of unhoused people downtown, making business owners and shoppers feel unsafe.
New Year's Day 2 years ago, I had a customer come in with at least a 14-inch machete hanging from his backpack.
Bangor Police Sergeant Jason McCamley says the department acknowledges that the unhoused population may make people uncomfortable, but that doesn't make them dangerous. McCamley says, "We fight crime, but being homeless isn't a crime." But not all business owners agree the unhoused population is a problem. Aaron Parker, co-owner of Chimera Coffee in West Market Square, says that in the 2 years he's been there, he hasn't had any major issues.
All in all, the homeless population that I've experienced here has been much nicer, calmer, more respectful whenever boundaries are set, and understanding whenever you ask them or to leave a space.
Downtown residents say despite the presence of unhoused people, they still love living in the area.
But I've heard a lot of old timers say that it's nothing like it used to be. There's more drugs, break-ins and all that stuff. But it does seem to be dwindling. There's not as much stuff around, but they keep it beautiful.
In Bangor, I'm Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Kind of depends on who you talk to. I saw a Facebook post yesterday from the owner of 11 Central and Happy Endings, and she was saying, yeah, some things have changed down there. There's more homeless, but they haven't had any real problems and they never feel unsafe. And they don't want things like that to deter people from coming to downtown Bangor because there's so much down there, so many businesses and things to enjoy. Would you want to send your young daughter walking through the city at night? Probably not, because you wouldn't want to do that anywhere.
Well,
and you never had.
Craig,
but
I'm biased.
Yeah.
I was that girl. I'm from Bangor.
Yeah.
I am very protective of my city and the people in my city because I care about this place and I care about the future of this place. I was that girl sneaking out of the house in the middle of the night, going to downtown Bangor in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Were there times when I felt unsafe? Yeah, because you don't do that, or you shouldn't
You're
do that.
a bad girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are times now that I feel unsafe. My house growing up in downtown Bangor, it occasionally got broken into, especially when we didn't leave our doors locked. Bangor has always been a city where you better lock your doors.
It's a city.
Because it's a city.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's a city.
Yeah. Anyway.
I have big feelings about this, and I need to cut myself off because I think a lot of people have big feelings about this right now. And it's about our safety. It's a conversation that's worth being had.
I've never felt unsafe down there myself, but you just watch yourself. And you
got to watch yourself. You do have to be a little street smart.
Yeah, it's a city. So.
Period.
Anywho, off our soapbox now. Time for that forecast with Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Craig and Emma, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Northwoods Hearing Aid Center in Lincoln, Maine, providing quality hearing care while accepting most Medicare Advantage plans and private pay. Contact them today to schedule your free hearing test. Here we go. We have a winter weather advisory posted across the northern parts of the state. This will expire at 9 p.m. Saturday. Measurable snow will be expected in these areas. Meanwhile, we have a small crowd advisory up along the coast, and that will expire at 7 a.m. as we head towards your Saturday. Meanwhile, wave heights at around 6 feet according to the buoys, rather active in the ocean this morning, even 9 feet being noted further out towards sea. On land, some freezing fog across parts of Waterville and parts of Augusta, and now reaching into parts of Bangor as well, so some caution should be exercised as you head out the door this morning. Meanwhile, we've had some clouds passing through. We'll push some of these clouds out of here. Notice maybe a little bit of moisture further off towards the north, maybe a little bit of snow this morning. Overall, a partly cloudy sky will be expected for us. Notice a little bit of energy across parts of the northeast as well with a little bit of snow, but our next system will be moving in as we head towards your Saturday. So let's talk about this. For today, again, maybe a little bit of energy, maybe a little bit of snow further off towards the north, but otherwise a partly cloudy sky will be expected today. Increasing clouds later on tonight. Snow starts to move in as we head towards Saturday morning. and it may mix in with a little bit of rain along and south of Bangor, where warmer air will be expected. This thing will start to get out of here as we head towards Saturday evening. Maybe a little bit of leftover snow and maybe even a little bit of leftover rain as well. So we'll have a little bit of leftover rain and snow by early Saturday evening. This all gets out of here as we head towards early Sunday morning, and then we'll be done with that system. As for the snowfall, again, maybe 1 to 3, maybe up to 4 inches further off towards the north, lesser amounts further down toward the south, where some rainfall will be mixing in at times. Gusty winds up to 30 miles per hour possible today. The winds will start to back off later on tonight, but then increasing again as we head towards your Saturday with that system that will be passing through. So for today, we have upper 30s, partly cloudy and windy, southwest wind at about 30 miles per hour. Later on tonight, 12 degrees, mostly cloudy, snow showers moving in late with a light and variable wind. And then for tomorrow, we have low 40s, rain and snow on the way. It will be breezy, south wind getting up to about 20 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Northwoods Hearing Aid Center in Lincoln, Maine, showing a partly cloudy sky for your Sunday with highs in the low 20s, lower 20s again for your Monday under a mostly sunny sky, mostly cloudy on Tuesday with highs back in the mid-30s.
When bad allergies attack, trust Claritin to keep you in the game. Nothing has proven more powerful for continuous non-drowsy allergy relief. Live Claritin Clear.
Dedication, teamwork, and passion has driven your team to the state championships. Now it's time to cheer them on. Coastal Auto Parts has what you need to get to the big game. Get up and go.
Hello, this is George Whelan with Down East Direct Cremation. Now, anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, from the comfort of your desktop or the convenience of your mobile device, you can summon transport and arrange a simple, affordable, respectful Down East Direct Cremation for your deceased loved one. Just by using the button exclusively at downeastdirectcremation.com. All you need is the location address of the person who has died, their vital statistics information, a valid credit card for payment, and that's it. No need to pick up the telephone, no need to answer a bunch of questions, no need to come into the store, and it's still just $9.75 complete. It's so easy, even I can do it. For more information, visit us at downeastdirectcremation.com or call us at 207-225-5332. Simple, affordable, respectful. The button, only at downeastdirectcremation.com.
Don't get cold feet this winter. Stay warm and dry with high-performance footwear from Comfort Shoes and More. With an extensive selection of winter boots rated from 0 to minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit, you'll find comfort in knowing your feet will be warm in any weather. Discover the latest in functional and fashionable footwear with grippers built right into the sole, with boots in stock up to 6E and size 17 for men and women. Take the drive to Newport for a sit and fit to find your perfect fit. You and your feet will be glad you did.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Now to the legal battle over the mass firings orchestrated by Elon Musk. A federal judge blasted the wave of job cuts at several agencies, casting them as unlawful. He said the Office of Personnel Management had exceeded its authority. The judge adding that probationary employees being let go are, quote, the lifeblood of our government. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has the latest.
A federal judge in California has handed the Trump administration a setback, ruling the recent firings of federal employees was likely unlawful. The judge saying the Office of Personnel Management does not have any authority whatsoever under any statute in the history of the universe to fire any employees but its own. But the rulings does not mean those fired employees will automatically be rehired or that future firings will stop. The judge has scheduled another hearing in 2 weeks to hear from people in key positions. Multiple lawsuits are pushing back on the Trump administration's efforts to shrink the federal workforce and save taxpayers' money.
The more I talk about it, the more I want to cry, but it's heartbreaking.
Former workers at USAID held a rally yesterday before entering the office for the final time to gather their belongings.
What is being done is one of the biggest blunders in American foreign policy history. It is one that generations of Americans will look back on with horror.
Fired employees and other concerned voters packed a town hall in Virginia. Leo Cooper, a U.S. Navy veteran, was recently fired from his job at the Agriculture Department.
It feels very much like a slap in the face, just the way that it was done.
The Department of Veterans Affairs also firing some 1,000 newly hired employees.
You might ask, why are Trump and Musk doing this? It's all to try to come up with some extra cash so they can fund more tax cuts for big corporations and their billionaire pals with deep pockets and private jets. So let's call this what it is. It's a middle finger to our heroes and their lives of service. Veterans make up 30% of our federal workforce.
And the government job cuts could affect your weather forecast. 800 workers have been fired at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, including a meteorologist working to improve hurricane models. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
And back to that judge's ruling last night, the unions that filed the lawsuit called it a first step and vowed to keep up the fight.
Well, meanwhile, a nationwide call to boycott shopping all day today is gaining momentum as advocates against corporate greed vowed to keep their dollars from profiting large companies. Fox News correspondent Chanley Painter has that story.
Want to give your wallet a little break? This could be your chance.
Friday!
28!
Friday!
28! With a grassroots organization calling for a nationwide economic blackout Friday.
I've locked my cards up already. I'm not spending any money.
The initiative has been gaining traction online with the group The People's Union USA asking Americans not to spend any money all day. Advocates call the move an act of resistance to protest corporate greed, income inequality, and more. It comes as the cost of groceries and other essentials remain high. Those joining in accuse companies of jacking up prices while keeping their workers' pay low.
They get their money from people like us who give them the ability to utilize our dollars. Take it back.
Marketing experts say previous boycotts that gained steam were focused around a single brand or retailer.
But what's different is the calls for the economic blackout on Friday are not localized to an individual brand or an individual retailer, but are instead calling for consumers to really shut down their economic activity altogether.
The People's Union USA advises not buying anything online or from retail chains. Getting gas and fast food are also frowned upon.
I really wish it could last longer. I just feel like one day ain't enough to really show it, the importance of what we can do.
If you absolutely need an essential, some advocates say shop local. Meanwhile, the People's Union USA is planning another blackout on March 28th. I'm Chanley Painter, Fox News.
Controversial online influencer brothers Andrew and Tristan Tate are back in the U.S. A private jet flying them into Fort Lauderdale after a Romanian court lifted a 2-year travel ban put in place after their arrest on human trafficking charges in 2022. The brothers, who were also given back all of their frozen assets, are accused of luring women to Romania to exploit them. Andrew Tate has also been accused of rape. Both siblings deny the allegations. Last year, a Romanian court ruled their case could not go to trial due to procedural issues. In recent weeks, Andrew Tate posted on X, quote, "The Tates will be free, Trump is the president, the good old days are back, and they will be better than ever." The Trump administration is now facing questions whether they pressured Romania for their release. And coming up on the second half of the newscast, the Alphon Foundation is offering a special scholarship that will allow a student from Dexter to attend college free of charge.
We'll tell you what students need to do to apply as Good Morning Maine continues.
Looking for a place the whole family will love? Gilmore's Restaurant has something for everyone. From legendary boneless wings to weekly specials and refreshing drinks, we're your neighborhood favorite. Whether it's family dinner or a night out, Gilmore's Restaurant is where memories are made. Family friendly and flavor packed. Visit us today.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
4-0
Orono is more than just a college town. It's an affordable destination. Welcome to the Orono Arcade, where we have both modern and retro games. And for a new experience, check out our 9-hole blacklight mini golf course. Budget-friendly, fun for the whole family, with 13 restaurants within walking distance. We look forward to seeing you soon at the Orono Arcade.
You come alive in the dead of winter and start work early on snow days, because snowed in is not an option. The Kubota Snow lineup of compact tractors, RTVs, and versatile attachments are built to move, plow, blow, and thrive in the winter. So when the snow falls, you could rise to meet it. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 84 months, plus save up to $300.
Available at Doors Equipment, 1468 Outer Hammond Street, Bangor.
Looking for a place the whole family will love? Gilmore's Restaurant has something for everyone. From legendary boneless wings to weekly specials and refreshing drinks, we're your neighborhood favorite. Whether it's family dinner or a night out, Gilmore's Restaurant is where memories are made. Family friendly and flavor packed. Visit us today.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Friday, February 28, 2025. It's also International Stand Up to Bullying Day.
This day aims to create empathy and end bullying and harassment. It's observed in schools, workplaces, and organizations in more than 25 countries. Bullying can have a lasting effect on a person's mental health, and that's why it's important to recognize instances of bullying and put an end to them.
I've said it before, I'm totally against bullying. I've been bullied before, and I've seen people bullied. I don't like it. You're seeing a lot of it on social media these days, too. So it comes in many kinds of forms.
I know. And yeah, kids and adults can be bullied and can be bullies alike. And I think it's really important to check yourself and to keep in mind that you got to be the one that sticks up for other people. Remind yourself, who do I want to be when I look back on that situation?
Yeah. All right, time for history. On this day in history, back in 1844, a 12-inch gun aboard the USS Princeton exploded as the ship was sailing on the Potomac River, a blast that killed the U.S. Secretary of State and several others. President John Tyler was also aboard the ship at the time, but he was uninjured.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. In 1854, about 50 slavery opponents began the new Republican Party. Did you know that's how that all got started?
Yeah.
In 1953, scientists at Cambridge University announced they had discovered the chemical structure of DNA, the molecule that contains human genes, solving a fundamental mystery of science of how genetic instructions are passed down from generation to generation.
I can't imagine what that must have felt like.
I guess one of the guys that did it went into a local pub and said, "We did it!" and everybody celebrated.
Sounds like what I would do,
a bunch
too.
of scientist guys hanging
Yeah,
out.
that's human nature.
Yeah.
Yep. In 1979, Simon and Garfunkel's song "Bridge Over Troubled Water" was #1 on the top Billboard 100. In 1983, the final episode of the television series MASH appeared on television. It remains the most watched episode of any television series in history. It probably won't beat it either, now that we have streaming services and not one TV that we all watch.
You won't get as many audience members that way. Yeah.
No. In 1993, ATF agents raided the Branch Davidian compound in Waco, Texas, as part of an investigation into the illegal possession of firearms. 4 ATF agents were killed in a shootout with members of a religious cult. It also touched off a 51-day standoff that ended when the entire compound went up in flames, killing the cult's leader and at least 80 of his followers. And in 2007, NASA's New Horizons spacecraft made a gravitational slingshot around Jupiter to change the planned trajectory towards Pluto. And in 2013, Pope Benedict became the first pope in 600 years to resign.
All right, for birthdays today, they include singer Cindy Wilson of the B-52s, who is 68 years old today. I saw them in concert up at the Pit at UMaine one time.
I've heard
way
about
back
that.
when. That was a great show.
I've heard about other people who have been to that show.
Really?
Yes.
It was a good show, although I got my car towed afterwards because I parked in the wrong place.
You didn't get kicked out?
I didn't get kicked out.
No bad behavior from Mr. Coulson?
No, I'm a good boy. Meanwhile, legendary race car driver Mario Andretti turns 85, and this is also the birthday of actress Ali Larter, who is 49 years old. She's one of the stars of that new show with Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, he's awesome.
Who, I don't know what it is, about oil drillers or something.
Yeah.
I have to watch it. I haven't seen it, but everybody's talking about it right now. So.
I got to watch that.
Yeah. All right. Time to check out that forecast again with Devin Biggs.
Here's Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Emma. Happy Friday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Northwoods Hearing Aid Center in Lincoln, Maine, providing quality hearing care while accepting most Medicare Advantage plans and private pay. Contact them today to schedule your free hearing test. Already low temperatures so far this morning haven't been too bad. Overall, we've been in the 20s and 30s, but that's not the only day we're keeping an eye on. We also have winter weather advisories further off towards the north for measurable snow that will be expected in those areas. This will drop by 9 p.m. Saturday. We also have a small craft advisory that will expire at 7 a.m. as we head towards Saturday morning as well. We have freezing fog taking place near parts of Waterville, Augusta, along the southwestern parts of the state this morning, so travel may be a bit tough there at times, and it looks like the fog has been hitting Bangor at times too, with the visibility now going down. But in the meantime, we have some clouds tracking off to the east, maybe a little bit of moisture in the air as well, maybe a little bit of snow in the northern parts of the state today, but for us, we will stay dry with some clouds passing through at times. Otherwise, further off towards the west, a little bit of snow falling across parts of the northeast. We'll be watching for our next system that will be moving in rather soon. Futurecast showing again overall partly cloudy sky for us today, increasing clouds overnight. That next system moves in as we head towards Saturday morning. Your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing a partly cloudy sky overall with temperatures overall in the 30s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Emma.
All right, thank you, Devin. Now for the latest on what's happening in Hollywood.
Here's ABC's Melissa Adan.
Tributes continue to pour in for actor Gene Hackman, who was found dead in his New Mexico home this week. Director Francis Ford Coppola, who worked with Hackman on the 1974 movie The Conversation, posted on social media that Hackman was inspiring and magnificent. Clint Eastwood said there has been no finer actor and that Hackman was a dear friend.
This is going to be fun.
It will be. We're getting our first look at season 2 of The Rehearsal, the absurdist HBO comedy show starring Nathan Fielder. The trailer shows Fielder observing several identical sound stages with different scenes playing out on each. The new season premieres on April 20th.
The four of you have become known as the face of severance reform.
The first 3 episodes of Severance have been the most watched Apple TV Plus show since the final season of Ted Lasso.
Who would have the power to send their Audi to the severed floor?
And speaking of Severance, star John Turturro turned 68 today. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. Melissa Adan, ABC News, Los Angeles.
All right after the break, Jack Webb has our sports updates.
Don't go away.
Your favorite restaurants for half off. It's half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7. Here's this week's featured deal.
The Legacy Sandwich, where you can find quality homemade sandwiches that are made to order. When it comes to food, we take it seriously. That's why we serve shredded chicken and turkey on our sandwiches. Voted Bangor's best deli sandwich shop. It's not just a sandwich, it's a legacy.
On sale Thursday at 9 a.m. A limited supply available half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7. Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. We are the top source for screen printing, embroidery, branded merchandise, and direct-to-garment printing. With 25 years experience, state-of-the-art equipment, and a commitment to excellence, why trust your apparel products with anyone else? And now, Brandywine Graphics can easily launch online stores for your school or organization. Simply design your products from brands like Eddie Bauer, Carhartt, and more. Share the link and we'll do the rest. Like we said, Brandywine Graphics makes it easy. Find out more at brandywinegraphics.com or at our Hamden location.
Save thousands on your new garage doors during the double rebate event at PDQ Door. Choose from several beautiful Clopay garage doors and get up to a $250 online rebate, and PDQ Door will instantly double it to save you $500. Buy 4 garage doors and get up to $1,000 in rebates, and PDQ Door will instantly double it to save you $2,000. Find a door you adore during our double rebate event for a limited time only.
This is my playpen.
I get that, Your Honor.
Perfect.
Judge Judy never misses a beat.
Weeknights at 5 on ABC 7.
Gold Ball games are just a day away. Welcome back in, everyone. Thanks for staying with us. Class A kicks off our state finals on Friday night, and on Saturday, Mattinock boys basketball will look to finish off a perfect season by taking the gold ball back to Lincoln. Our Tyler Cruz has more.
Before the season started, all the rankings came out. We weren't on anybody's radar, so we've used that as fuel. We're real excited. You know, we're going to go out and get things done.
Mattinock Academy boys hoops is just one win away from perfection.
Yeah, it does feel great. Now we're kind of off the high horse now and preparing for the state game, so I think we're more focused on that than actually winning the regional at this point.
The Lynx take their 21-0 record into the Class C Gold Ball game, marking their first trip to a state championship since I-95 was built. Yes, that's right, the 1950s.
It's been really unreal. I can't even explain it. It's something that, like I said before, I've watched games on TV not even knowing it was a possible thing. It's unreal.
James Trott is the lone senior on the squad, playing in his first ever Maine High School basketball tournament. So the Lynx went from the play-in to the Gold Ball game in just one season.
I mean, not even making the tournament before, and now now we went all the way, so it feels really good.
I think we get out and run the best, play hard defense, and I mean we averaged I think 70-something points and let up 45, so that's good defense and it's great offense.
And when they play their style, it's not only effective but enjoyable, not just for us watching, but for the guys playing it too.
Yeah, we love shooting, you know. Who doesn't? It's so much fun just getting out there playing basketball with the fellas. It's just an amazing time.
The Lynx take on Mount Abram for the Class C Gold Ball on Saturday evening, and they're confident if they stick to their style, everything will be just fine.
I think play our game. If we let them knock them off what we've been doing all year, then we could struggle a little bit like we did against Mount View. Didn't really play our game, had a close one. But I think if we do what we do best, I think we'll pull it off.
You know, just making sure we go in there, do our thing, don't change much up, play our game, you know. That's what we've been saying before every game in the tournament, because a lot of kids go in there nervous, as they probably should, but we're not going to do that. We're going to come out guns blazing.
From Lincoln, I'm Tyler Cruz, ABC 7, Fox 22 Sports.
I might be True Weatherby's biggest fan. Thanks for that, Tyler. Good luck to the Lynx on Saturday. We head down to Alfond Arena now, where on Saturday night, they'll honor the transformational class of 2025. Seniors Harrison Scott, Ross Mitten, Taylor McCarr, Nolan Renwick, David Brazil, and graduate student Lyndon Breen will be recognized. Renwick and Brazil were freshmen, while Breen was a sophomore during head coach Ben Barr's first season at the helm, where they proceeded to win 7 total games and finish dead last in the Hockey East. 3 years later, they've turned the Black Bears into a consistent top 10 team who's now fighting for the #1 overall seed in the conference.
It's been pretty amazing. I haven't really had a chance yet to sit back and look at the whole 4 years, the bigger picture, but you know, I owe a lot to this program on an individual basis and from a community standpoint, from the fans, from teammates. It's really given me a lot, and I've been very fortunate to be a part of this program for 4 years, and I'll look back on it the rest of my life with pretty fond memories.
Without those guys, I don't think anything changes here the last couple of years. So, yeah, they're special kids.
As Coach Barr said, that class has been at the core of the special things going on up in Orono. A couple border battles tonight for the Maine men and women as they battle for seeding in the America East playoffs. We'll start with the women over at the pit. Maine women sit in 3rd place, while with UNH fighting for a playoff spot down in 8th. Maine up 15 at the break, but the Wildcats would start hot as Maggie Kavanaugh drives and pulls up for the mid-range jumper to get the Wildcats started. Other end, it's Paula Gallego who gets her defender in the air, spins and lays it in with the left, but the Wildcats would come storming back as Elizabeth Laveau grabs it, the tip pass, takes it all the way to the cup. The Wildcats make it a 1-possession game. Black Bears looking to respond. Asta Blauenfeld steps back and drains the 3 as time expires in the 3rd to put Maine up 5 shortly after in the 4th. Dotsie feeds Blauenfeld, who drains the dagger this time as Maine wins 62-48. This makes head coach Amy Vachon the all-time winningest coach in UMaine women's basketball history. It was also a huge win for Maine with just 1 game remaining before the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it felt great. Everything's very packed in the conference right now, and every game is important. So I think we pulled this through, and we did it as a team, so it was great.
To the men now, we're going to go on down to Durham, New Hampshire. They sit in 3rd in the conference while UNH sits at 6th. We picked this one up first half. UNH swinging it around until Anthony McCabe drains the three to put them with up three. Later on, Jaden Clayton fires it over to A.J. Lopez, who buries the three-point shot. Maine would take an 8-point lead into the second half. Now, David Poser comes off the screen, steps back, and drains the shot from beyond the arc to make it a three-point game. Other end, Keon Burns throws it ahead to A.J. Lopez, who slashes through the defense and finishes the tough layup to make it a 7-point game under a minute. Now, Maine up 4. Clayton finds Kellen Tynes, who pumps, takes the hit, and drains the shot as the Maine men secure their first winning season since 2011 with a 73-66 win over rival UNH. Big win for both squads, and that's a sweep of border battles this year. That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Did he lose his shirt? I've never seen anybody lose their shirt.
Do you think they made him pay triple?
I guess our tactics didn't work today. Who's the law firm?
The law offices of Joe Bornstein.
If you've been injured in an accident, call Joe. The law offices of Joe Bornstein. Maine lawyers working for Maine people.
Tell the insurance company you mean business.
With winter upon us, you'll want to feel safe on the road. So take action right now by heading to your Toyota all-wheel drive headquarters for our Washington's Birthday Sales Event, where you could get $4.99 for $60 on an all-wheel drive Camry hybrid with elevated design and an outstanding safety rating. Plus, get 2 years no-cost maintenance. Hurry in and save on a vehicle from the longest-lasting brand, Toyota. See your New England Toyota dealer. Go all-wheel drive headquarters. Toyota, let's go places.
Foggy's Pub, your place for fun, food, and friends in Palmyra, Maine.
Devin Biggs with our 5-day forecast.
All righty, Craig and Emma, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Northwoods Hearing Aid Center in Lincoln, Maine, providing quality hearing care while accepting most Medicare Advantage plans and private pay. Contact them today to schedule your free hearing test. Here we go. We have a winter weather advisory posted across the northern parts of the state. This will expire at 9 p.m. Saturday. Measurable snow will be expected in these areas. Meanwhile, we have a small crowd advisory up along the coast, and that will expire at 7 a.m. as we head towards your Saturday. Meanwhile, wave heights at around 6 feet according to the buoys, rather active in the ocean this morning, even 9 feet being noted further out towards sea. On land, some freezing fog across parts of Waterville and parts of Augusta, and now reaching into parts of Bangor as well, so some caution should be exercised as you head out the door this morning. Meanwhile, we've had some clouds passing through. We'll push some of these clouds out of here. Notice maybe a little bit of moisture further off towards the north, maybe a little bit of snow this morning. Overall, a partly cloudy sky will be expected for us. Notice a little bit of energy across parts of the northeast as well with a little bit of snow, but our next system will be moving in as we head towards your Saturday. So let's talk about this. For today, again, maybe a little bit of energy, maybe a little bit of snow further off towards the north, but otherwise a partly cloudy sky will be expected today. Increasing clouds later on tonight. Snow starts to move in as we head towards Saturday morning, and it may mix in with a little bit of rain along and south of Bangor, where warmer air will be expected. This thing will start to get out of here as we head towards Saturday evening. Maybe a little bit of leftover snow and maybe even a little bit of leftover rain as well. So we'll have a little bit of leftover rain and snow by early Saturday evening. This all gets out of here as we head towards early Sunday morning, and then we'll be done with that system. As for the snowfall, again, maybe 1 to 3, maybe up to 4 inches further off towards the north. Lesser amounts spots further down toward the south where some rainfall will be mixing in at times. Gusty winds up to 30 miles per hour possible today. The winds will start to back off later on tonight, but then increasing again as we head towards your Saturday with that system that will be passing through. So for today, we have upper 30s, partly cloudy and windy. Southwest wind at about 30 miles per hour. Later on tonight, 12 degrees, mostly cloudy, snow showers moving in late with a light and variable wind. And then for tomorrow, we have low 40s, rain and snow on the way. It will be breezy. South wind getting up to about 20 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Northwoods Hearing Aid Center in Lincoln, Maine, showing a partly cloudy sky for your Sunday with highs in the low 20s, lower 20s again for your Monday under a mostly sunny sky, mostly cloudy on Tuesday with highs back in the mid 30s.
When I would visit my mother at the nursing home, there were really bad sores on her back, but nobody would tell me what was going on. Why not?
If an incident has occurred at a nursing home that's brought up cause for concern, call the 2s right now.
The attorneys at Lowry and Associates helped me get answers. They held the nursing home accountable for what happened to my mother.
If you suspect nursing home abuse or neglect, we're your go-to lawyers.
Upset stomach? Iberogast. Indigestion? Iberogast. Bloating? Iberogast. Thanks to a unique combination of herbs, Iberogast helps relieve 6 digestive symptoms to help you feel better. 6 digestive symptoms, the power of nature. Iberogast.
Come bowl a few games here at Bangor Brewer Bowling Lanes. We're one of the only candlepin bowling alley centers in Maine, conveniently located in the heart of Brewer. You always have the opportunity to simply bowl for fun. However, you can also join a league. We have youth leagues, adult and senior leagues. Now don't forget, we also host birthday parties for under $100, and gift certificates are also available. Give us a call right away at 989-3798 to make reservations for your birthday party today.
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? Because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. So you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
Tonight, where's the one place to see the stars, the nominees? Mind-blowing.
Powerful.
Audacious. So fun. Countdown to the Oscars with Robin Roberts.
Don't be wicked, Robin.
But I want to be popular. Tonight on ABC.
A student from Dexter has a rare opportunity. They will get to attend Thomas College for free. The Bill and Joan Alphon Foundation is picking up the tab for tuition, housing, and a meal plan at Thomas College in Waterville. The gift is meant to remove the financial barriers for a student to pursue their higher education. They say the gift from the Alphons showed their commitment to creating opportunities for Maine's youth and is a great fit with the school's mission of preparing students for personal and professional success. You can get more information about how to apply for that scholarship at thomas.edu. Harold Alphon, of course, used to be the owner of the Dexter Shoe Company, right there in the middle of Dexter. A lot of folks around that area worked there, so this is a nice way to give back.
What an amazing gift.
Yeah.
All right, looks like we are running out of time. If you missed anything, head to foxbangor.com.
Have a great day, everyone.
WVII, ABC7 cares about the children in our area. We offer a variety of programming for children ages 7 to 14. WVII, ABC7 keeps a file about these programs in our public inspection file. You may view these files during regular business hours, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The public inspection file is located at our studios at 371 Target Industrial Circle, Bangor, Maine 04401.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
I got hurt by a big truck. Why did I call the twos?
Because life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money, and I'll fight to get it for you. We got a client who broke multiple bones in a commercial vehicle accident, $700,000. Another client had a brain injury, and we got them $1.15 million.
If you get hurt by a big truck, call the Twos.
We win for you.
Hurt by a big truck? Call the Twos. We win for you. Bring your new kitchen to life with help from the Kitchen, Bath, and Flooring Division by Hammond Lumber Company. Bring in your ideas or get inspired by Hammond's extensive showroom displays. Your Hammond sales rep will help you create a materials list and cost estimate, and Hammond's designers will help you visualize your space before the work begins. And Hammond delivers from 22 locations across Maine and New Hampshire. Your new kitchen begins when you bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company, your building project partner.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Good morning, America. We are live on the scene.
Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Today on Good Morning Maine, a driver is safe after crashing through a railing and into the ocean in Southwest Harbor.
Plus, an effort is underway in Augusta to make wealthy Mainers pay more taxes than those who are struggling to get by.
And we'll hear concerns about safety in downtown Bangor. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us. We'll hear about those stories and a lot more coming up over the next hour. But first, to check that forecast. Still a little slippery in condition out there in some places this morning. So you'll want to take it easy as you head out for the day. The good news is things will be warming up a bit today, and we'll see a lot more sunshine. So it should make those roads, all that stuff, melt away, and it should be nice.
I know, and the sun's already up too, so that's a plus.
Cool.
Here's Devin Biggs with the forecast.
And thank you very much, Craig and Emma. Happy Friday. Your first weather forecast brought to you